Doug likes pink mist. In this episode of Nightmare Echoes, Eleazar and Margo cover the 2023 horror comedy Totally Killer, but also reference Primer, Looper, Time Cop, The Prestige, Scream, and of course Back to the Future. Spoilers ahead! Hello everybody, welcome to Nightmare Echoes podcast. I'm your host Eleazar. I'm joined by co-host Margo. Margo, how's it going?
Hello.
What are we doing today?
I forgot the name of the movie again. Oh, Totally Killer. We watched Totally Killer.
Oh, that's too funny. It's starring Kiernan Shipka, who I'm sure said that wrong, but I know from The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Yeah, I think that's like the most well-known thing she's been in. I don't know anything else she's been in.
Got it. Olivia Holt plays Pam.
Oh, okay.
Young Pam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mom Pam is played by Julie Bowen.
Right. I meant to pull
from
up
something, that very, very famous TV show that I'm blanking on.
Oh, I got it. Hold up. I'll get there. Oh, I know her from Happy Gilmore.
She wasn't Happy Gilmore. She's in that, what's that TV show? Extremely famous TV show. Extremely famous popular TV show where they have the generations. They have the mom and dad with the kids and then her father and he has a young wife. This is like a crazy famous show.
Modern Family?
Thank you. Modern Family.
Okay. I've
like
never
grandmas
watched it.
know about Modern Family.
Right, but I've never watched it.
Okay, well, anyway.
My bad. Young Pam is Olivia Holt, and I knew her from a show called Cloak and Dagger, which is a Marvel TV show.
I never watched it.
Oh, it was good.
It was good.
I was really sad that it got canceled.
I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but
it might be on Hulu.
I don't know.
But Totally Killer was released on Amazon Prime, so there's no data on how much money it made or anything like that. It's Halloween 2023. We start the movie with a podcast by Chris Dubasage. He goes over the whole history. It sets up the whole thing. 35 years ago, 3 teenager girls were brutally murdered. Okay, when I first watched this, it premiered like at midnight. I got to watch the first 15 minutes, and so the next day at work, I was telling Tiffany Clark, you just died in a movie, because I work with Tiffany Clark. But that's a tangent. So October 27, 1987, Tiffany Clark is killed. She's found butchered in her family's garage, stabbed 16 times. 2 days later, at a cabin in the woods, 16-year-old Marissa Song was killed, also stabbed 16 times. And then on Halloween Day, 1987, Heather Hernandez was stabbed 16 times in the parking lot of Billy's Boardwalk. So that sets it up.
Which is like a little theme park area they have back in the 80s.
Right. Well, it still exists, but it's worn down. No one visits it.
Yeah, right.
The photo booth used to work, I guess.
Yeah. Nobody's using it anymore.
No one's using it. And according to the podcast, witnesses said that the killer wore all black, a mask that looked like Pretty Boy in the 80s with giant teeth.
Like a blonde person, man. But it's like not realistic. It's like a cartoony blonde man's mask.
Because of this, he was named the Sweet 16 Killer because of all those details, I guess.
Yeah. Well, he stabbed them 16 times.
And they were 16 years old. Yeah. Right. We walk in with about, a group of people all dressed as the killer who show up for the tour led by the host of the podcast, Chris Dubasage. And they're in front of the house that used to belong to Tiffany Clark, which is now a Zata Burger. Angie, as an employee, comes out offering free samples for the restaurant, interrupting the podcast, or the tour, interrupting the tour. Angie's like, serial killer is kind of a loose term. I really think like 6 people should die for it to be a serial killer. And then Chris is like, thank you, Angie. We appreciate that. Let's give it up for Angie, who wishes there were more people killed.
Yeah, that was a funny joke.
That was awesome. She's like, no, that's not what I meant. And then we cut to Jamie's room. We see a poster for a band, or the lead singer of a band called Killer Instinct. Spelled with
Great video game.
Oh, yeah?
You never
for the 90s?
Killer Instinct?
From the 90s?
Yeah.
I didn't even click. Yeah. But in this, it's spelled funny. It's got a K before the T at the end. The lead singer of the group, Eddie Royal, is giving us the finger. That's where her mom walks in, Pam, who's played by Julie Bowen, and she complains she wishes she would pick a different poster to hang on the wall because she says she knew him in high school and he was such a jerk.
Oh, do you know what Julie Bowen's in? Modern Family.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I remember her from Happy Gilmore.
both. What a great movie that was.
Oh my gosh. Pam notices that her vintage jacket is thrown on the floor, and Jamie said she was about to put it on.
Yeah, it's like a leather jacket. It has like fringe on it.
Yeah, it looks like the jacket worn by the female lead of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Sloane.
Right? Sloane.
Right?
Thank you.
That's her
Yes, you're right. Thank
Yeah.
you. I was blanking. And Jamie tells the mom she's meeting Amelia to go watch Killer Instinct because Jamie wants 2 tickets. We're introduced to Jamie's dad, whose name is Blake. Played by Launchlin Munro, who was in Freddy vs. Jason and also in Scary Movie.
He looks so familiar, but I saw Scary Movie a really long time ago, but I don't think I've ever seen anything he's been in. Maybe he's just like...
I did spend a lot of time looking.
Maybe he's just one of those, character actors who are in like a lot of random things. Yeah.
Sure. We see that Blake is a huge fan of Norm Dubasage, who is Chris's father.
The podcast guy.
Right. He thinks he's going to win a second Pulitzer because he's out in a storm.
Yeah.
Doesn't even have his hood on.
Also, Julie Bowen comments that she knew the singer of the bands when she was in
Yeah,
kid.
I pointed that out.
You did? I missed.
did.
I don't remember that.
I said he was such a jerk in high school.
That was 5 seconds ago. I don't think I should remember. You have to remember that.
You're good. Pam is trying to convince Jamie to stay home and hand out candy because she loves doing that.
Yeah.
Jamie's like, no, Mom, you love doing that.
Yeah.
The dad comes over. He's got this muscly shirt on. He says he's dressed as Zac Efron, but that he used to have that kind of body.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if Jamie believes it.
Yeah.
Pam, we find out, is dressed as Molly Ringwald from The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Pam tried to tell her it's a really hard time of year for this family, and especially now that Jamie's 16, and Jamie's pretty rude to her mom. She's like, so I can't go to a concert because all your friends were murdered 35 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that a teenager would really be that bratty to be scoff at their mom's friends dying? I don't know.
Do have a 12-year-old that...
Okay, well. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think kids can be.
All right.
I don't know. But Pam said, I would have never spoken to my mother that way, which we know later that is not true. And Jamie goes, well, that's fine because you never speak to grandma as it is.
Yeah.
And then we get a lot of setup that it's going to pay off later.
Yeah.
She tells her mom that she has her cell phone, she has a rape alarm, and she's been taking self-defense classes since she was 7. Pam gave Jamie a protective crystal that she got from a psychic. Like, oh my gosh. I love that.
I think they came up with a very sweet compromise, which is her dad's just going to drive her there, hang out while she's at the concert, and drive her back home. I'm like, how sweet. I'd love it if my dad did that when I was her age.
Sure.
Wow.
I mean, the dad might have been bored, but he's a loving father.
I know. That's so sweet.
It is sweet.
That seems like better than driving yourself, but I guess teenagers think that's lame.
Yeah, maybe. Pam gets a text message. We see it's from Chris Dubasage, and Pam lies to Blake saying it's a mom's thing. And then we cut to Blake driving her to pick up Amelia, and he tells her, when you sit in the back, I feel like an Uber driver. And she's like, God, Dad, 1 star. Which I can relate to. I spend so much time. I got one, I have 3 kids, but when I'm only driving the oldest one, I'm like, dude, sit in the front. And he's like, why? I'm like, so I'm not just your chauffeur. He's like, but there's more room in the back.
Like, you want to hear a story about riding in an Uber, which is when they first came out, I thought it was normal to sit in the front seat of an Uber, especially if it was like a girl or something. Like, I feel safe. And then one time I sat in the front seat because it's like their car, you know, it's like different than a taxi. And then one time I sat in the front, the front car door didn't work that well. And then the driver, she's like, yeah, it's weird that you want to sit in the front seat. And I was like, oh no, I've been doing it for like a while. But anyway, that's a fun story about how I was dumb. All right.
Yeah. So they arrive to pick up Amelia, and she won't go knock on the door.
Yeah.
She tells her it's rude to knock.
Yeah,
she just text messages her.
True.
Is it rude to knock?
No.
Oh.
But you don't knock on people's door anymore. You just text them to say you're there, right?
Oh man, I messed up when I arrived here.
Come in the house. It's different.
Okay, all right. We cut back to Pam,
was there something weird with her mom? Was she just, or no? When she picks up her friend Amelia and Amelia's mom.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Was there something weird with her? I don't remember. Because I feel like this came into play later.
It does come into play later. When Amelia comes out, we do meet Lauren, and Blake's like, hey, are you going to have a good Halloween? And Lauren's like, I have to work. She's like, almost has an attitude towards Blake. She's annoyed that she has to go to work. I mean, I can relate to that. But
that's the worst.
But it did seem like there was something there between Blake and Lauren. Like they just didn't get along.
Didn't like each other. Yeah.
which I think does come into play later because by the end,
and also she seems like she has to work really hard. She like doesn't make a lot of money. She seems like harried or whatever.
Right. Well, she's got a bad reputation in the town at this moment.
Yeah.
Which you find out later.
This is a setup for later. Okay, continue.
Right. So that's where we cut to Pam. She's handing out candy to trick-or-treaters. And then the next person that knocks at the door is dressed as the killer. Pam points out...
Oh, yeah. So everyone's wearing these killer masks. This is another thing. Okay, I understand people wearing killer masks that are fake. But do you think that really people would be wearing a real killer mask? Maybe.
So this is what happened in Scream Part 2.
I know, but this is a fake movie, though.
No.
I'm saying in real life. Do you think that would happen?
No, I know. But in Scream 2, they believe the murders were real.
Yeah.
Because they show up for a premiere for the movie Stab based on the real Woodsboro murders.
Right.
And they're handing out killer masks, and everybody in that theater is wearing this killer mask.
I know, but I'm saying in real life, do you think people would really wear the real life? Like, no one's wearing masks of famous serial killers in real life. You know? Right. But whatever. That happens in movies all the time. People are like celebrating their local serial killer.
Yeah. No, I don't think it does.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, sorry.
So Pam points out that the costume's not very funny, and that's when he pulls out a knife. Pam closes the door, and we learn really fast here that she is prepared for this, and she's preparing for a long time.
She does exactly the smart thing to do.
Oh, with everything. She hits the alarm to call the police. Then he breaks in the door, and she can hand-to-hand fight.
Yeah.
But she pulls out a gun, fires it, but he's able to like block her arm out of the way before it goes off so he doesn't get shot. Then Pam knocks the knife out of his hand using like self-defense, but his strength throws her to the floor. Total side note, we know who the killer is here. Do you think the killer had the strength to just like throw her that much?
All right, so I'm glad you brought this up because I didn't know if you want to talk about this now or at the end.
I kind of want to talk. I mean, all over. I'm fine. Let's just talk about it.
Well, okay, so every single time there's a part of the movie that I'm like, that doesn't make sense. They explain it.
They do.
Except for this part.
Yes.
So we'll just say that the original killer knew karate or whatever. Yeah. I'll just say that right now. So you're like, okay, that makes sense while he's really going to town on everybody. But this killer does not know karate unless he's been learning it.
Right.
Which I guess we don't know that.
We don't know. But he's also able to knock out Amelia really easily later. We don't see it happen.
Yeah, but Julie Boolman's character says that she's been taking self-defense classes since she's like 16.
Yeah, she's a badass.
So no, I don't believe that he would be able to take her out so easy, but whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe he's also been training. Who knows?
So I love this. I wonder what is hidden around her house everywhere.
Yeah.
Because she's knocked to the ground and she instantly grabs the nearest table under her.
She's obviously been training. I think she says something like, "I've been training for this."
Yeah, I've been training to be killed since I was 16.
Yeah, or something like that.
Something like that. Oh, I've been worried about being murdered since I was 16.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, yeah, you wrote it exactly down.
Right, yeah. Okay. So she's knocked to the ground, and she grabs under the coffee table in the living room, taped to the bottom of it, a thing of mace.
I know,
Like, what else is hidden around her house? So she sprays the mace. Pam is able to get the knife and yells that the cops will be here any second. The killer backs away, but then she doesn't know where he went. She sneaks behind him, and he's able to stab. She's able to get one stab, but the killer then stabs her 16 times.
Yeah, how did he, get around her?
I don't know.
See, I thought at this point there was two killers. Because it seems like but there wasn't.
There wasn't.
Because it seems,
not here, there were not two killers.
I mean, like maybe theoretically there could have been the original killer and the copycat killer. But
this killer says he never,
never knew who it was.
Never knew who it was and now understand who it was.
Yeah, because he backed out the front door and then all of a sudden he pops back on the other side.
Yeah, and he doesn't know this house well because he's never been in it.
Yeah, so this is the only part of the movie that I'm like, it doesn't make 100% sense.
Sure, but I think the fight was just so amazing.
It was. Yeah, and it's
like worked for me.
It's like against the trope, right? That like whenever you're getting attacked, you're always doing such stupid stuff.
Right.
And you think, oh, in real life you can get away. But in this, it's like, no, she was prepared and she still got killed.
Right, and then we hear the sirens coming and kids walk in. They see the dead body. They start running and screaming. Mm-hmm. And then we get the title card to the movie so that we know that this movie's totally killer. Mm-hmm. And then we cut to the police there. Chris Dubasage is reporting from the scene. Blake is talking to police officers and Jamie's upstairs crying. And Chris lets us know in his podcast that eyewitnesses saw the Sweet 16 killer.
Mm-hmm. He's back.
He's back. We cut to the next day at school to Principal Doug Summers speaking to the class. Hey, in this movie, Doug's a principal. I swear every movie there's a Doug that we watch. He gives the floor over to Coach Randy Finkel, who we meet all these people again later as young people. And then Randy is standing right next to Sheriff Carol Lim.
Yeah. I guess everyone like knew each other when they were kids.
Right. Because this is a small town. Like they went to the high school. They all grew up. They were all still working together. Yeah. And the coach is supposed to give him a talk about self-defense. Do you remember what he says?
Avoid the knife, save your life or something.
Yeah.
He basically says to run for it.
Which
I think is great advice.
It is. But it's funny. It's like, first thing you want to do if you see the killer is run. Remember, avoid the knife, keep her life. Go Devils. Like, oh my gosh. And then later in the hallway, Principal Doug Summers and Sheriff Carol Lim want to speak to Jamie. The sheriff jumps right into, where was your father when your mom was killed? Jamie like just goes off on her. She's like, you've always hated my dad, but maybe it's time you let go of whatever high school bullshit you've been hanging on to and do what your broke ass rent-a-cop dad failed to do 35 years ago and catch the fucking killer. She's like, oh man, I feel like, the actress that played Jamie here was good. Like there's real tears coming out.
Also, like, he had an alibi.
Yeah, he was with them at the concert.
Yeah, so like, I don't understand why he's a suspect.
I mean,
but they found the text from the podcast guy on her phone, so they think maybe the mom was having an affair, and so he was jealous and killed the mom.
Exactly, and Jamie's like, they didn't have a relationship, and they're like, well, we found a bunch of text between the two of them.
Yeah.
And then we go to Billy's Boardwalk, and this rundown amusement park.
Yeah.
Jamie here runs into Damon.
Well, they're having a science fair. So let me say that it's when they're at this, they're all hanging out at this defunct amusement park. Immediately, I'm thinking, why the F are they over here? Like, I don't understand. This makes no sense. Why are they having a science fair here? But they explain it. That apparently was cheap, and so that's why they're having their science fair there.
And they think it's a win-win because it'll bring people back.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, this makes no sense. They just want to have it at a weird location. Anyway.
Sure. So when going there, she runs into Damon, who I know later in the past they call Lurch. And he gives them like
kind of creepy.
He's got a creepy look, so it's supposed to be like a red herring. You know, like we're supposed to maybe.
We keep seeing like people maybe could be the killer. Right. And this is one of our suspects.
We meet Jamie's friend Amelia, who's going over her designs for a time machine. Jamie asks Amelia, "Why don't you tell people about the time machine?" And she's like, "Because you tell people you have a time machine, but it doesn't work. People think you're crazy." I wouldn't tell people personally because of the implications that someone else gets the time machine. They could do anything.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Like, I would keep the time machine for myself.
You know me. I'm not getting in no time machine for anything. I'm sure we've talked about this before.
Yeah, we have. I mean, it's like the past sucks.
Speaking about, no, that's not what I'm talking about, although you're right. No, this is horror adjacent.
Yeah.
What happens when you go back in time, right?
Yeah.
And then you go forward in time, but you're still there.
Well, if you go to a point where you were before.
Okay, but what if you overlap? Then what happens? There's two people, right?
Yeah.
So it's or what if you did something bad in the future and you don't know about it, and you have to correct it from the future? You see what I'm saying? Who is the best person to go take yourself out? You.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that's creepy. I don't like that idea of having to kill myself from the past or the future or whatever.
Have you seen Looper?
Yeah, I've seen Looper. Yeah, and Looper. Also, did you see Primer? Spoilers.
I did not see Primer.
Okay, spoiler. It's not a scary movie, but I did not like it for this reason.
I gotcha. Time Cop had a weird theory where if you touched yourself, that you would both form into mush.
Another spoiler. I mean, these are all old movies, though. Yeah. So if you haven't seen them, I can't imagine you're going to be that spoiled. But The Prestige. Yeah. That happened in that movie, too. I'm like, oh, no.
He killed himself a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he knew he was going to do it, but still.
Yeah.
Yikes. Anyway, sure. Off track.
All right, here we learn the rules.
Oh wait, also you're gonna mention that it's her mom. It's based on her mom's plans. Her mom made
her notebook that her mom doesn't believe in anymore.
Yeah, but she couldn't make it work, so she gave up on her time travel plans or whatever.
Right. But her mom's a genius, and she wants to prove that her mom's a genius. You're right. And we learn all the rules of the time machine here. It needs Wi-Fi to work because it syncs with your phone's GPS, or you wouldn't end up in the right place. I feel like this is slightly flawed, or you would need to build it so that it had a way to power up the cell phone.
Well, they should explain it later.
Yeah, but they could have built in.
Yeah, I mean, they
were cell phone charger.
Okay, I mean, we're jumping a little ahead, but they're not planning on traveling, right? They never plan to go.
She puts in the date for the day.
I know, but
the
they
first
don't have
murder
it
happened.
work. They definitely don't have it work. It's not like they're trying to use it yet.
But when they get it working, are they going to stop it and then be like, all right, let's prepare now?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, they really need to bring a portable charger for their cell phones.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Right. Well, they sell the
but
solar ones.
maybe there was a little plug-in there for
and Jamie just never found it.
Well, no. If you remember, the time machine gets destroyed. Yeah.
Okay, that's
they
true.
Have to use the gravitron. Now we're really jumping ahead.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So we find out that the time machine's set for October 27th, the day of the first murder, because Amelia thinks if they could stop that murder, that Pam would still be alive, so Jamie can have her mother.
Right. It's a train.
Oh, it's a train going by. That's what that is. I was like, what? What is that noise?
Yeah.
And then we cut to Jamie's now listening to Chris Dubisage's podcast. The dad comes in, says that he's ordered some pizza, and asks that she not listen to that podcast. We get some interesting information here. We found that Blake and Pam got together at college because if they gotten together in high school, it would never have lasted.
Yeah.
And he brings up that in the quantum drop.
This is like, I called it the gravitron. So in real life, it's
fine.
In real life, it's called the gravitron, right? It's that ride that spins you fast around in a circle and you get
so
flattened
gravity feels like it's on the side.
Yeah, but in this movie, they call it the quantum drop?
I think they call it the quantum drop.
Okay.
And then that's where they found out that when Pam was pregnant, or they were pregnant, he says, with
because they were vomiting
Jamie.
from the quantum drop, and then she
she never stopped vomiting.
So they took a pregnancy.
So it was like an important day for them.
Is it at this point have we found the note that her mom had, or we haven't? Oh, she's
very next scene.
Okay.
Yeah. So next day, Jamie's meeting with Chris. He wants to know if he can record it for the episode, and she's like, "Are you having an affair with my mom?" And so he does not record it.
Wait, I think she did question her dad already about whether or not he knew, or is that coming up?
About Chris.
Yeah, and he said he did. I think he did know that she was trying to find out more about the murder.
You're right. So he said, really was mom and Chris friends? I said, no, she wouldn't be friends with that man. She goes, well, why were they talking? He said, because it's been 35 years and she's never figured out who killed her friends. Right. And so he's the only one investigating still. The police gave up a long time ago. Right.
So, her dad is like definitely not suspicious at all at this point to me.
He's a good dad.
Yeah, for sure.
So the next day, meeting with Chris, he wants to record it. She jumps out right away saying, are you having an affair with my mom? Chris shows Jamie the note that was found after the original murders that was put in Pam's locker that says, you're next one day.
So this is why she's been thinking that she's going to get killed all this time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Jamie returns to Amelia and she wants help to find the killer. And at that moment, right when she says, I need your help to find the killer's right behind her. Jamie's running through the park. She hides in the photo booth, which is the time machine. She accidentally turns it on, which attracts the killer. She's trying to turn it off in a panic, but the killer shows up, jumps in this time machine. They have a fight, and he stabs the machine, which makes it work. He's pushed out of the machine, and she's teleported. The song Venus starts playing, and it lets us know that we're in the 80s.
I don't know what the words are. It's in a commercial.
Yeah, sure. And then we know that it's the 80s because the park is beautiful. Yeah. It's popping.
I want to pause and say the soundtrack to this movie wasn't typical 80s songs.
But it was good. Well,
I did like them, but it wasn't. I mean, it was very recognizable 80s songs. Yeah. But I don't think it was the typical 80s songs that every single 80s.
I think like 8 of the 10 of them were female singers. They were that was pop, purpose. And I think it was good. Yeah, it was a good selection. Yeah. She's at the photo booth, and 2 people want to come up and use it. She's like, "Oh no, it's out of order." She steals an out of order sign, and then she comments that the guy's shirt is super problematic, but his girlfriend likes it.
Oh yeah, it says FBI, female body inspector. I feel like people still wear this shirt.
They still do wear this shirt. And then the photo booth spits out photos of her being attacked, so she's got evidence. Yeah. Not that the cops ever care.
No,
they don't. And she meets a random mom who's there with 2 little kids, and she's like, "What year is it?" She goes, 1987. She's like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, I know the 80s are almost over. I haven't even tried coke yet." And then she's like, "Oh, the kids don't know."
She's smoking.
This
is a joke that everybody's smoking.
Yeah. Well, a lot more people did smoke back then.
Yeah, exactly. It was before they banned smoking in all the public. She gets out of the car. The mom gives her a ride, and she gets out of the car, and it's cigarette smoke wafting from the car with the kids inside.
Well, she doesn't want to take that ride at first. Yeah. She's like, "You could be a serial killer." Yeah. And she's like, "Would a serial killer wear Gloria Vanderbilt?" Which is awesome. She tells her friend that she's looking for must be at school where she should be. So she gives her a ride there. And then when she steps out of the car, she looks up and the mascot, instead of being the Devils, is the Red Devils. They have a mascot that looks like Indians baseball team logo.
Yeah.
She goes, here comes the racism.
Yeah.
So she walks into the office. She pretends to be foreign exchange student Jamie LaFleur from Prince Edward Island, Canada. And the secretary just gives her, she asks her what grade and just gives her schedule.
Yeah, she doesn't care.
And
she's not
like,
fact checking.
Right. It's like, which just shocks Jamie. Like, what? Anybody can just walk in here? And she gives her gym and she's like, hey, do you have another schedule? I'm kind of, opposed to going to gym. And she just gives her like a death stare. So we see her in gym and she compares the outfits to Hooters. Which
she's wearing like really short shorts.
Yeah, but the shirt is not a shirt that you would see at Hooters.
No, but I know, but she's talking about the shorts.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, they're extremely short.
Got it.
Extremely short.
Kind of like volleyball shorts then.
Yeah, I mean, it's like softball shorts, but they're super short. It's like shorts you'd wear in the 80s.
Yeah, okay. Right away, she notices the 3 murder victims, Tiffany, Marissa, and Heather. The gym teacher calls for a dodgeball game.
Yeah.
Jamie thinks this can't be legal.
Yeah.
She ends up with a nosebleed. She asks another girl, who's Pam? She's like, it's that one over there. She says, no, Pam's nice. She goes, what are you talking about?
Oh, Pam was the one who bashed her in the face with the ball.
She's like, she's the Wicked Witch of Vernon. And the teacher's like, hey, next time dodge it and I don't have to clean up your blood. Like, oh, man. She goes to meet Pam. Pam's like, I'm not going to shake your hand. I'm not an old man. Or something like that.
Yeah.
And Jamie hears them talking about the party they're going to have that night. And she, out of nowhere, just tries to convince them to cancel it. Like, you're ever going to convince a bunch of teenagers.
She jumps right in to be like, hey, girls, let's be friends.
Yeah.
Which is really funny.
Pam's
but her mom is like a queen bee, like snobby, popular girl.
She's like, maybe you should fuck off and die. And she's like, Jesus, Mom.
Masita.
Ay, 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 mamacita. And she's like, oh, hablas español? And then she goes off and she tells her to fuck off and die in Spanish.
Yeah.
And then we see Tiffany turn around and goes, 3 years of Spanish, bitch. like, oh my God. Cut to Vernon's sheriff, the finest police officer we've ever seen.
It's played by...
Oh, Randy Park.
Yeah, Randy Park.
Who is also an Ant-Man of the Wasp. Well, the second one.
True. Yeah.
And WandaVision, hit with his magic card tricks.
Yeah, but he couldn't give an F.
He couldn't. She goes, have you seen Back to the Future? Randy Park's character, who's also Sheriff Lim.
Yeah. She's the woman Lim, Carol Lim's dad.
Right. She's like, you're the sheriff's dad? And it's like, oh, Carol's nickname is the sheriff? That's cute. That's what the other officer says. She tells him, hey, have you seen Back to the Future? Which I love that the movie references what it's copying. Yeah. Like, it's a pretty cool callback.
And it would have come out by 1987. It would have, right? Yeah.
But Lim doesn't watch those. They never make any sense. He doesn't. He says, I'm Jamie LaFleur from Prince Edward Island. He goes, sounds made up. She's like, it's not. Which is great. And she shows him the picture of her and the killer, saying that he's going to strike that night. And they're like, hey, either go back to school or I'm going to arrest you for truancy.
Yeah.
So she goes back to the secretary, claims she has the EpiPen of Amelia, but before she can even spit that out.
Basically, she realizes no one's going to believe her. So she needs to find somebody who's going to believe her.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's going to go find her friend's mom.
Which is Lauren. Right. Yeah. So she goes to the secretary, about to tell her story about an EpiPen. Yeah. And the mom's like, she's in this class. Like, didn't even care.
Yeah, we don't care.
She's like, oh my gosh, it must be a nightmare being in a plane.
What exactly? I don't remember what she said, but to go to the airport.
Yeah.
Well, this was definitely before TSA.
Oh, completely.
She could just walk right on an airplane.
She gets Lauren out of class. She's like, wow, you look great. And Lauren's like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And she's like, please tell me you see Back to the Future. And she's like, of course. And she convinces her. She tells her the whole story, but the part that convinces her is that she's told no one about her notebook. Yeah. She seems like she's insecure about the concept. Mm-hmm. She's like, yeah, but I'm from the future and I know about it. And your daughter, who is a super genius, built a time machine, and I got in that time machine, came back, and that's so I need your help. And it's kind of like Marty McFly telling Doc Brown, you built a time machine. Yeah. Now I need your help to fix it.
Yeah, and she's like, okay. Because basically she's like, well, I built a time machine, so I believe in time travel.
Yeah. She's like, you're taking this really easily. She's like, you don't build time travel without expecting that people are going to visit you from the future. And then she says, the serial killers gave me pause, though. That part of the story. She explains that Pam Pam, Heather, Marissa, and Tiffany are called the Mollies. And they all dress up as different versions of Molly Ringwald's characters.
Yeah. Just like a callback from the mom dressing up as Molly Ringwald.
Right. That's why, because her and her friends always did it. I read an interview with the designer of the clothes who had fun. She was a big Molly Ringwald fan. She got to research all the outfits, put them together. She had a lot of fun with Heather's hats that she wore, and she was talking about it a lot, which was pretty neat. That was pretty cool. I was trying to find a guide on which one was wearing what outfit from what movie, but it does not exist yet, or not that I could find. I didn't put in enough research. That's why they're called the Mollies. We see Damon again, who's looking creepy even as a kid, as they walk by, and that's who they later call Lurch. At the time machine, they spot the knife. Lauren's like, oh, it must have needed the extra metal as a conductor. And she's like, yeah, that's exactly what I thought. It's awesome. Lauren asks her how much she knows about quantum mechanics, and she's like, I saw Endgame, but I didn't understand. Which is awesome. Lauren gives us the rules of time travel in this world. It's a river. If you imagine a river, you jump out of the river and you run upstream on land, then jump back in the river. The time's still flowing at the same time. So if they experience an hour in the past, an hour for the people in the present has moved forward. So as they change things, they don't notice it until that exact time it happens for them later. So that explains why in this movie things are changing and their memories change as they happen.
And she's saying that if she does something to prevent her birth or whatever, she's still going to exist. It's just when she goes back into the future, no one's going to remember who she is.
Right.
But she's not going to disappear, unlike Back to the Future.
How dare they say Back to the Future's wrong? So we're back to 2023 for a little bit. Blake is asking Kara, who's now the sheriff of 2023, if they found Jamie. Chris is on the scene investigating again. We know already that Blake doesn't like Chris. Chris is like, it doesn't look good to be the only guy stopping an investigation. And he's like, you're not an investigator. You run a tour. Yeah. And Amelia runs up saying she knows where Jamie is. She took her time machine to the 80s. And this is where you find out that the sheriff, Kara, thinks her mom's crazy and thinks that Amelia is also crazy. Blake follows the sheriff, and Chris turns and he's like, I have several follow-up questions. So I love the way he said that. It's like, oh, it's pretty cool. Cut to Jamie and Lauren later that night in 1987 going to the party. And outside the party are Randy Finkel, who is later the coach, who's picking on Doug Summers. She's got him in like a headlock and, get him a noogie on his head. With Doug Summers, who's later is the principal, and then Kara Lim, who's the future sheriff. And we get a little montage of, because they were all standing in the classroom. They're standing in the same order in the past, so we get to see them young, see them old, and cut back to them young. And she goes, all right, listen up, teen faculty. I gotta find Tiffany. They wouldn't have got. None of them would have gotten. But Randy doesn't let her in the party. She starts yelling, unwanted touch. And Randy goes, unwanted human, shoves her out and closes the door, which I think was awesome. Doug joins them. He tries to climb the fence, and people are just staring at him, trying to get over the fence as they're drinking alcohol. Doesn't make it. She tells Doug that she's from Prince Edward Island, and he spent time there. He's like, did you know the average age of a person there is 49.5? She's like, oh, that's really interesting. And I'm sure she's thinking, I didn't make that up. That's a real place. Doug is able to boost Jamie and Lauren to go over the fence. Bizarre Love Triangle by New Order plays. I love this music here. Jamie checks out a guy getting out of the pool. She's instantly attracted to them because he's got a nice bod.
Yeah. She comments on how nice his body is.
And then Lauren tells her that that's Blake. And she's like, oh, that's my dad. She's like, wait, Blake's your dad? And Pam's your mom?
Yeah.
Like, oh, no. And she's like, it's because Blake is with Tiffany.
Yeah, that's right.
But they cheat on each other all the time.
Well, Tiffany gets killed too, so
in
her timeline,
right? Of course, sure. But that's what they like. Lauren says that they're always cheating on each other. Yeah, right. So Jamie, trying to be cool again, starts dancing towards the Mollies.
It's just like the whole time she's just like, hey, I'm back. Let's be friends.
And she tells them, you know what would make this party cooler? The police. And Heather's like, I love Sting. And Pam's like, yeah, they could play Don't Stand So Close to Me. And pushes Jamie away with her finger. Jamie says the girls should lift each other up. And Pam is rude and lifts up her middle finger to It's like, I'll lift you up, all right. And then Chris Dubashaw's young Chris here takes a picture for the yearbook. Blake points out that there's beer everywhere. Do you want Tiffany to be grounded for the rest of her life? Are you crazy? Kara Lim tries to stop Jamie from coming back.
No, she's back in the party.
Right.
They see that she's back in the party.
They call Randy over.
To kick her out of the party
literally
again.
picks her up and throws her out.
Yeah.
And this is where, sorry, I skipped a line in my notes. Kara Lim tries to stop her from coming back in, and Jamie's really rude right here. She's like, you will become a miserable person, never knowing true happiness and rocking an unflattering haircut that makes your head look like a ping pong ball. And Doug points out, that was oddly specific. Yeah. And Kara's so distracted. She's feeling her own hair like, oh no, what's going to happen to my hair? That she lets her in. Jamie finds Tiffany crying because someone told Blake that she made out with Eddie Royal. And Jamie's like, the lead singer of Killer Instinct? Tiffany's like, they have his music in Canada? Is he famous? Like, which is awesome. So she runs after Eddie.
Now she's like, oh, okay. I think she did kiss him, right? And he just found out about it, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But she
so he wants to break up with her again.
She's not she's gonna blame other people for her problems.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Well, because they commented that they cheat on each other all the time anyway. But yeah. Okay, so now go ahead.
She's back inside.
Yeah.
She tries to get with the Mollies again. They call Randy over, but this time Jamie's ready. Gets him in an arm bar, slams him down on the table.
She's been taking
everybody's
self-defense.
Self-defense classes since he was 7. And this actually impresses Pam. And Jamie gives the credit to her mom.
Yeah.
Like, well, my mom, Then Tiffany and Eddie on our waterbed, which, man, I miss those.
My parents had a waterbed.
My cousins had a waterbed. I loved a waterbed.
Theirs wasn't super watery. It was kind of, how there was firmness to waterbeds?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The last
There's
one.
some that you'd get in and you would like really sink in and not be able to get out. But
Sure.
my parents were, it wasn't that.
The last one I was in was super wavy. Like, it was like, it would I don't know. You'd take a long
like you'd
time
sit
to
in and
calm
you're
down.
like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly. They're making out in the bed, and Tiffany gets up because she has to go to the restroom because she's had too many BJs, which she's talking about the alcoholic beverage they bought. Right. And he's like, I hope there's room for one more. And she's like, oh, no, you pee out of that thing.
Yeah.
And so she goes to the bathroom. Eddie's like, fuck this.
Yeah,
and he leaves. Cut to Jamie, who's listening to the podcast to try to remember where the murder happens. She's walking upstairs, and she's like, oh, yeah, the garage. So she goes to the garage. She opens the garage door, and all the stuff falls down. And the girl's like, I thought you blocked it. He's like, I did. But because the door opens into the house, that barricade did nothing. Like, it didn't stop anybody from entering, which is stupid. And then she's like, Tiffany's supposed to be in here. And they're like, there's a schedule? Like,
what? Why? So what changed? I don't remember. What changed to make Tiffany go upstairs instead of
because
into the
she mentioned Eddie Royal.
Oh,
she wasn't
that's
gonna
right.
go.
She wasn't gonna go back to Eddie, but
this
then she
changes
said
Eddie's future
that's right,
too.
That's right. Okay. Continue.
Right. Yeah, you're good. Tiffany comes out and notices that
Eddie's gone.
Oh, there was a small scene here where when she's listening to the podcast, this girl's like, whoa, she's stoned. She's like, are you from the future? And she's like, yeah. Where's the garage?
Yeah, that's right.
Like, what? like she comes out of the bathroom.
Kara is the one who's always stoned, right?
She is. Was it Kara at that time?
I think it was.
It might have been
she's
Kara.
like constantly stoned.
Yeah,
in the movie, the future police officer.
So she doesn't even remember this conversation happened later. I don't know. So Tiffany comes out of the bathroom. She sees the closet door open, and she's gonna go over there, and she's like, "Oh, I don't chase boys." So she sits down on the bed, and she's like, ready for him. The killer comes out, and she tells him, "You are gonna take off that mask." He just shakes his head no, and she's like, "If you want to have sex, you will." He pulls out. He goes to caress her hair, and then he yanks on it, and then proceeds to stab her 16 times. Water shooting up everywhere. There's blood all over the walls. Jamie breaks in. Right behind her is Pam, and she runs and sees the killer's already escaped through the window. Now it's a crime scene. Sheriff Lim here, who's Kara's dad, is blaming Blake. Wherever there's trouble, there's Blake Hughes. Someone goes to his defense. Who defended him?
I don't know, but he wasn't there.
Yeah. Then the other officer's like, hey, should we question Randy? And Sheriff Lim's like, no, he's a friend of my daughter.
Wait, did she mention that? No, I guess not. I was gonna say, did she tell her mom yet that she was supposed to be with Blake? I think no, not
that
yet,
happens
not yet.
when they're in her den.
That's right.
Later.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the other officer asks if they should question Randy, and the sheriff's like, no, because he's friends with my daughter, which automatically makes him not the killer. His daughter gets away with everything. It's so frustrating. The sheriff goes to question Jamie, saying the trouble didn't happen till you showed up. She tells him you could have prevented all this. But Pam jumps to Jamie's defense, says no, she's not lying. She was just trying to protect Tiffany. And so Sheriff Lim's a little caught off, like, okay, Pam's defending her. So she's got to be okay. The sheriff says, all right, everybody, this is an active crime scene. Nobody move. And as soon as he walks in that door, everybody starts running. Jamie and Lauren run after Pam. Pam says, I didn't really like her, but she was my friend. I know she wasn't a great person, but she was my friend. This is where Pam tells her she's a psychic, shows her the psychic crystal, and she's like, looks legit. And she tells her that Marissa, Heather, and Pam are all the next victims. And she asks her, how far in the future can you see? And she says, until the year 2023. And she's like, wow. Like, wow, what power. So this is where we are in the den of Pam's house.
Okay, yeah.
And I love this. They're watching RoboCop. You can hear it before you see it.
Yeah.
But in all these VHS tapes that are there,
like sci-fi movies.
Yeah, we got Dune, Terminator, Reanimator, Blade Runner, Buckaroo Bonanza, Empire Strikes Back, Tron, Interspace, The Last Starfighter, Scanners. Lauren's like, I can't believe you're a sci-fi geek. She's like, you tell anybody, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
She asks Jamie if machines kill us all because she's watching RoboCop. And she's like, no, they more rip apart the fabric of our society via dance videos on TikTok. And she's like, they use dance against us, which is awesome. Jamie tells them that in the cabin in the woods, Marissa will be next. And she asks if there might be people that hate the Mollies. And she mentions someone named Alvin.
Well, first she's like, no, absolutely not. And then she starts listing like 5 million people.
Right, she's like, Alvin, we made fun of his eye patch. Then there's Wendy, there's Tyler, and the list just goes on and on. Pam's mom comes in, who seems super nice.
Yeah,
she's like, hey, you guys want some snacks? You want some drink? And she's like, oh, Mom, leave me alone. And the mom's like, oh, wow, I was just trying to be nice. You know, which I can't believe how rude she is to her, even her own mom.
I know.
But it's all set up, you
right.
know, like for later and how history
also
changes.
To show that she was saying, I would never talk to my mom like that. But she was completely rude to her mom.
Yeah.
The main character comments, okay, see why grandma doesn't want to visit us.
Yeah, exactly. But she does tell her you shouldn't be mean to your mom.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you have a great relationship with your mom, I suppose. And she's like, no, but I kind of wish I did. I don't get to tell her how much I love her.
Yeah.
But somehow, apparently not right now, but down the road, we learned that some of this sinks in.
Yeah.
Or has to.
Yeah. Well, we learn about Fat Trish in here. Forgot about that.
We do. Okay, well, they're talking about the killer. The idea of Randy comes up, who had previously asked every Molly out to the prom. Jamie points out that it wouldn't be right for a man to be mad at them just for rejecting him. Which I'm like, yeah, right. And then Pam asks if she should date Randy then, in case he's the killer. And that's where Jamie lets it slip. No, because you're supposed to be with Blake.
Yeah.
And she's like, really?
Yeah,
I've always
excited.
had a thing
she's
for
excited
Blake.
about that.
But Jamie's like, oh, but you shouldn't get together for years. Like years. It's not going to work out. You're too young. You're too horny. You'll mess it up. And she's like, well, if it was meant to be and Tiffany's dead, I'm going to have sex with Blake. Like, oh my gosh. I get it. He's got a hot bod.
Well, I was going to say, because it brought up Fat Trish, because they were talking about motives for murder. And she's like, they were talking about how she did a funny thing where, what exactly happened? Trish did something
at the talent show.
And she thought it was really funny. And then
Lauren's like,
that wasn't funny. So she's like, well, if we're saying that that's not funny, I guess we were mean to her too. But she's dead, so she can't be the killer.
So Lauren recites a plan. She tells Jamie and Pam will work on finding the killer, and she will work on the time maker.
Time maker.
She almost slips here. She's like, it's a fancy word for clock. And then we cut to 2023, where Amelia is working on the new time machine, and she's making one out of an arcade race car simulator, which she got off of eBay. Chris Dubachage shows up asking if this is the time machine 2.0. Then he takes this time to show Amelia. He's like, I've studied these forever. I remember everything about these murders, but you rewind to my podcast a few days ago, I said that Tiffany was murdered in her parents' garage, but I obviously know that she was murdered on her parents' waterbed. And Amelia says that, at least in their reality, a Mandela effect has always been theorized to that be memories from a different timeline that were affected via time travel. So they explain how all these memories will be there, but the characters still remember both versions of it.
Yeah. Do you know about the Mandela effect for real? though.
Oh, I do. Like the Bernstein Bears was
I
like people think it was spelled differently.
No, it's Berenstain Bears. So people remember it's Berenstain Bears, but I think people were just saying it wrong, right?
Sure.
The one that's really funny is Shazam.
Like the way it's spelled?
No, that people remember a movie called Shazam starring...
Sure. Well, the original Mandela effect is that people think that Mandela was killed in prison when he was not.
Oh, that Nelson Mandela was killed in prison.
Right, but he's not.
But he's not. Yeah, he wasn't.
Okay, right.
I'm going to look. You keep going. I'm going to look up what this Mandela effect of Shazam was.
Okay, so Amelia notices the note on the bed that says "stab the machine," which Chris lets Amelia know that they thought it was a heavy metal lyric, which is what made them investigate Eddie. Amelia freaks out because she loves him. He's the lead singer of their favorite band, A Waterbed Away. And Chris looks at the poster and he's like, shakes it off like, that's not how I remember that. Which is another little detail, things that changed.
Oh, Sinbad.
Sinbad.
There was a movie, Shazam, that was starring Sinbad.
But it's Steel? Is the
movie
movie Steel? Where he plays like the metal Superman?
No, there was a movie called Kazam.
Kazam, okay.
But it wasn't starring Sinbad. I think it was starring Shaq.
Okay.
But I think people are like mixing it in their heads.
Sure, okay.
But anyway, so that one never really got me. The Berenstain Bears, I'm like, I do remember it being Berenstain Bears, but maybe everyone was just saying Berenstain.
People argue over Chick-fil-A used to be spelled differently.
Really?
I've heard that one. But there's a lot of little ones that people blame.
This is not a Mandela effect, but I keep claiming it is. That raspberry is spelled with a P. It's raspberry. I'm like, no, that's not right.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, off track.
Good. All right. They notice that there's the note, which is stabbed the machine, is signed with a big J. Mm-hmm. Chris said everybody thought it was a satanic rune. Mm-hmm. And Amelia knows it's a J. Chris pulls out the rest of his photos he took from that night at the party, and you see Jamie there standing next to Molly's. Mm-hmm. So they're like, oh my gosh, she is there. Amelia figures out that the metal clue means that she needs an extra metal conductor. Mm-hmm. And Amelia points out that Jamie is in the past trying to stop the murders. And Amelia explains to Chris the murders haven't happened yet for Jamie, and if like her river theory goes that if it's been 2 days since that first murder for her, that's when the next murder will occur. Mm-hmm. But for them in real time too, so they have that much time to try to get back there before the next murder happens. Cut back to 1987, where the news and Norm Dubashaz is reporting Eddie Royal's been taken into custody. At Tiffany's locker, there's a lot of flowers there. They're saying people are going to miss her, but then when you look closer, one of the notes says burn in hell. This is where she asks her about her marriage. If she ruins her parents' marriage, will she disappear? Mm-hmm. And that's where she says Back to the Future got that wrong. She'll just return to a future where no one remembers she exists.
Yikes.
We get the group of teens. Marissa can't believe that Jamie's still wearing the same jacket. Pam's like, I like the jacket. Jamie's like, is no one in touch with their emotions? And Randy grabs his crotch and is like, touch this emotion. Mm-hmm. And Pam's like, well, they'll probably mention something about her in the yearbook. That's what they did when Fat Trish died. Mm-hmm. And she's like,
is this when we find out
this
about
is right.
Fat Trish?
Yeah.
And she's like, you can't call people that.
She's like, who's Fat Trish? Oh, who's Trish? And you can't call her that.
Yeah.
You're like, Heather says, yeah, you can because she's dead now. Jamie asks how she died, and they tell her it was a car accident. Blake's, her blood alcohol limit was way too high. And Randy points out that's why chicks shouldn't drive. And Jamie goes, that is not it. That's why you shouldn't drink and drive. And Randy's like, I'm a way better driver when I'm drunk. And Jamie's, I can 100% guarantee you are not. Mm-hmm. And then Blake, her own father, jumps in and is like, that is what a chick would say.
Boy.
Oh my gosh. Cut to class. Pam is flirting with Blake, and Marissa is considering canceling the party. And Jamie's like, yeah, let's just do a girls trip somewhere in the city, somewhere with a dense population.
Yeah.
And then Jamie's like, we're going to memorialize Tiffany by planting a tree. I'm starting a petition, so if you could all print your names here really legibly.
Yeah. And what is she trying to get here? Is it
no.
I think maybe the good. What is the note that was about? Like, go to hell.
To see if one of them was
wrote that note on the locker that said like, go to hell or
the note that says you're next.
Oh,
that makes sense.
That could
right?
be.
Like you're next someday. She's trying to get it information because she wanted them to write.
Because I didn't at first. I was like, I don't understand.
Print.
Yeah,
she's like, you have to write your name in.
I don't
print.
understand what the point of getting everyone to write was.
Right.
But okay, that makes more sense.
And then the Mollies are like, Tiffany hates trees. They make her sneeze. And Randy grabs his crotch again. Is like, get back to this environment. Like, oh my gosh. Jamie's partnered with Damien, that guy from the park. And we see his notebook. It's filled with all these scribbles.
Guy from the park.
Yeah, it's filled with all these scribbles that are like evil and hateful and stuff like that. Then we cut to the girls picking up Jamie for the condo birthday.
They decide because Jamie keeps suggesting they go to the city. Let's go somewhere in the city. And then she's like, oh, let's go to my parents' condo.
And Jamie's like, that's a great idea.
So they're going to the condo now.
So they pick her up. They're like, condo birthday, bitch. They say, okay, for my birthday, we all hop the flash truckers. Like, what the heck? She points out the condo rules. If I point at you, you have to drink. We're all getting wasted. She asked about Damien, who they call Lurch. And he said he was in juvenile detention for a year. And then he missed more time after Fat Trish died because Trish was his sister. Jamie points out, you didn't mention that Damien could have been a suspect when she was, going through the list of suspects. Marissa's telling a story about a time that she went to give a BJ in the Dollhouse of Horrors. Yeah. To give someone a BJ.
Yeah, and he didn't tell on her or whatever.
Right. And Heather asks if there are any people around. And Marissa says, look, if you go into a place called Dollhouse of Horrors, it's your own fault if you see something you don't want to see. I'm like, oh my gosh. Jamie lays her head down to take a nap. And they're like, oh my God, is it your nap time? And they start blaring the music. And then she wakes up. They're in a cabin in the woods.
You skipped a pretty good joke. Okay. A pretty good joke, which is they said, who was the first girl who got killed? Tiffany. They said Tiffany wouldn't give blowjobs. And they're like, maybe if she did, she'd still be...
way later.
Oh, no!
That's way later.
That's a really funny
That's with Doug and Damon.
Then she said, well, I don't think that should be the takeaway or whatever.
Yeah,
oh, shit.
That's way later.
I'm like I ruined jokes so good.
It's okay. We'll get there. Don't worry. I'll point out what had happened.
Okay.
Yeah. So she lays her head down for a nap.
Oh, yeah. So they're in the woods now.
And she wakes up and they're in this creepy cabin in the woods. She's like, this isn't a condo. She goes, oh, is it a timeshare? Is that what I was thinking? It's a timeshare? Jamie won't stop complaining. There's a murder on the loose. They're in the middle of nowhere and Heather screams and we think, oh, she finally gets it. They're in a cabin in the woods and she's like, no, she's screaming. She forgot the vodka. And then a truck pulls up. Jamie's like, it's a killer. Get inside. And it's Blake, Randy, and Kara. And Blake jumps out. He's like, I brought the vodka. I don't go anywhere without it. And Carrie's like, I brought brownies. This is awesome. And Pam's like, I thought it was just going to be a girls' night. And Jamie says it to Pam. Yeah. And Pam's like, did you just want to les out all weekend? Like, oh, man. Jamie says, that's a gross comment. But then, instantly clarifies it. No. If people want to be lesbians, that's okay. It's in the context of you and me. That's gross. Not the life choices that people make or are born with. Is just hilarious. She's backtracks
because she's saying she wants to les out with her mom.
Yes, but she can't point out that it's her mom.
Yeah,
right. Randy says that he's 2 drinks in, so everybody's got to catch up, and he drove great. Awesome. Jamie goes around locking every door and window.
Yeah.
Jamie calls it the murder cabin. They're like, murder cabin! They're super excited. Jamie tries to explain rules for safety. They all get booed. Pam throws a ball of foil at her. Jamie slips again, calling her mom and hot mamacita. And Jamie's like, she did want to les out with me all week. Yeah. Oh no. She's, telling no one goes alone and we don't go outside at all. And that's when Blake goes, we should all get naked in the hot tub. And so everybody except Jamie and Kara are in the hot tub. Jamie's freaking out. Kara tells her to eat a brownie, but she's like, I already had 5. She's like, man, your tolerance must be strong. She's like, are these weed brownies?
Yeah.
She's like, I don't feel a thing. She's like, I got some more here. And she looks, inspects her weed.
80s style weed.
It's like there's leaves and twigs. Like nothing's in there. She stole it from her dad's evidence locker. Like, come on. And she tells her that she's like, I could give you a gummy with 100 times more weed in it than this bag of shrubs. So Jamie, trying to convince them all to go inside, convinces them that there's pizza inside.
So they all go inside.
So they go inside to safety. Jamie tries to tell Pam, it's too soon to be with Jake. It's too soon to be with Jake. When she's going in, she's stopped by Randy again, who tells her that she can't come inside because she's a buzzkill, and tells her to enjoy the trees. And all of them are stoned inside, and they're like, where's the pizza? She must have hidden it. So they start a scavenger hunt looking for the pizza. Pam tells Blake she can make him a pizza.
Yeah.
And he's like, really? Oh, man. But Jamie's like, great. Jamie tries to go to the window to knock to get in, and Kara's like, she's telling Kara, someone's in the house, and Kara's stoned. She's like, I'm in the house. We find out Pam can't cook, is too stoned to do anything. She cuts her own hand, which makes her scream, which makes Jamie outside think she's being attacked already. Pam doesn't know what to do to tell her mom that she cut her hand. And Blake's just tell her you got in a bike accident. And she's like, oh, Blake, you're so smart. awesome. She's like, I could lie to my mom. Like, oh. We cut to Marissa making cocktails, which consisted of 99.9% vodka and 0.1% of juice. She puts a splash of juice in it.
Well, then she takes a sip of it and she's like, she makes a gross face and then she puts more vodka in it.
Which is like, oh no. And then like there's like whispers in the back of the house, which Marissa turns around. She doesn't know what she's hearing. Mm-hmm. We cut to Pam and Blake cooking up, and Pam is like holding her arm up.
She's holding her arm up because she was bleeding.
While they're doing, then they hear a noise too, and that's when like it snapped to her. She's saying the blood she lost from her hand has gone to her brain, which woke her brain up to tell her this is a murder cabin. She asks Blake to barricade the doors. Cut to Randy asking if Heather wants to play beer pong, but she's passed out. And Randy here is at least a decent friend. He picks up the beer bottle, kind of cleans the bed for her, goes and closes and locks the windows so she won't be too cold. Which I was like, wow, that's different from Randy we know. Then
I think the movie was good at showing these like dumb teenagers being like sweet sometimes.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
They're not horrible people.
Right. Well, not all of them. We'll get to later.
Okay.
They were mean to Trish.
The group friend. Well, yeah, of course they were mean. But she didn't even think she was being mean.
Yeah, they didn't know, right?
Continue.
Well, so when Randy locks the door, though, it's like a minute before Jamie would have used it to get in.
Yeah, right.
Or the window.
Yeah.
The window.
She's trying to get through the window.
But what's worse, after Randy leaves and closes the door so she can sleep in peace, is the killer was already in the closet. Mm-hmm. So Jamie's trying to bang, and she's trying to wake.
Somebody had like turned music up or something.
Yeah, he does it right here. The killer does it.
Yeah.
So the killer hears Jamie's attempt to wake up Heather, and he turns the music on so that no one hears Jamie screaming, "Let the music play, he won't get away," by Shannon.
Know what song that is. I mean, I know what song.
Oh. What he's trying to say. It's funny. I got this stuck in Ty's head today. At work, he always does those songs of the day. Uh-huh, so I told him, you should have Let the Music Play by Shannon. And it was in his head all day. He's like, damn you. Yeah. Which is awesome. So Randy joins Marissa, who's making drinks. They think the music is just Pam and Blake trying not to be heard while they're hooking up. Marissa asks Randy if he'd like to have sex in the hot tub. And of course he's in, but he's like, but I suck at foreplay. So you all have to use the jets for that. And Marissa's, okay. Like, oh my gosh. Jamie makes it into Pam and Blake's room to tell them the killer's now after Heather instead of Marissa. But Heather wakes up and we cut to Heather. She wakes up in time and is able to kick the killer and run into the house screaming. But Sweet 16 killer grabs Heather and throws her over the railing, and she hits the stairs hard. It looked really painful. I hope that stunt person was okay. Mm-hmm. And at this moment, Jamie's like trying to open the door, and she makes eye contact with the Sweet 16 killer. Mm-hmm. And they're all trying to get out of the barricade that they made, but they can't get it. We see Heather crawling on the ground. It looks like her leg might be broken because she can't get up anymore. The killer catches up to her and starts stabbing her. After about 9 stabs, Blake comes out of nowhere and just tackles the killer, which shows like great bravery on Blake's part. But the killer is able to grab Blake and headbutt him. Gets 1 stab into the left shoulder. It's always the left shoulder. Oh my gosh.
Oh, if you're right-handed.
Is that what it is? Yeah. That makes sense.
Stab the left shoulder?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the killer tries to get outside. Jamie's at the door, and she hits him over the head with a block of firewood.
Yeah. See, here's the point where I'm like, dang, this killer's good because they're really ganging up on him.
And he could take them all out at once.
He's really evading them. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we said, the killer knows martial arts.
Well, we don't know this at this part, but I was thinking, dang, this guy is like skilled. How is he able to fight off so many people at once?
Sure.
And Jamie knows self-defense, so
she does.
She like kind of can fight.
So when Jamie gets the second hit in with the block of wood, there's an effect here where the music that's playing loudly goes fuzzy, like we're hearing from how the killer hears the music. And then he gets back up, which I think is cool. Then grabs Jamie by the neck. He doesn't lift her like in Freaky, just pushes her against the fireplace and has her pinned. Yeah. Pam runs up with a vase, smashed it over the killer's head, but then the killer kicks her right in the gut, grabs her head and slams it into a dresser. This is Pam, causing her to hit the floor. He stands over Pam, and that's where Blake comes in swinging with a fire poker from the fireplace. The killer dodges multiple swings, which we see in slow-mo, which is pretty cool. And then he runs out of the house. And in the aftermath, we find that Pam is still alive, but Heather is not. We cut to the sheriff's station, and when the sheriff enters, Jamie's holding this bag of tissues with blood. She hands it to him. It's hilarious. She's like, hey, I collected his blood. It's his DNA. Just plug it into the DNA World database. they'll be able to find him. Which the sheriff is like, I don't know what DMA is, but I'll just plug that into the database.
Yeah, because this was before DNA evidence.
Well, apparently, the first case ever solved using DNA was in 1987, but was in England. So, no one knew the technique yet.
America hadn't DNA database yet. We didn't have, like, Ancestry.com and whatnot yet.
But it's a cool little fact.
Yeah.
That, like, there was that close.
Yeah.
For it to working. But he's like, what's DNA? Or what's DNA, right? She doesn't know what it stands for.
He's like, what is DNA? And she's like, I don't know.
It's unique to everybody. We all have it. I don't know what it stands for, but just plug it in the database. You'll find him. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Oh, and also he like throws it to the floor.
Yeah, like behind him. Like, okay, he just throws the evidence away. Blake is quick to accuse Kara, which explains why they don't get along in the future and they hate each other. He asks where she was in the fighting. She said she hid in the closet and didn't hear the screaming because of the music. And of course, the sheriff believes it wasn't his daughter. They ask what they do now, and Jamie says she doesn't know because Marissa was supposed to be the one that died in the cabin. Marissa hears this and wants an explanation, and Pam tells Marissa that Jamie is psychic, but Jamie says that she isn't anymore. Because the order of the events have changed. The next day, Norm Dubasage is reporting in front of the school. There's a kid really slowly using nunchucks like he's never used them before. I've seen some martial arts competitions. Nunchucks can be amazingly used by teenagers, but this kid is slowly over the shoulder, under the arm. Yeah. It's hilarious. And there's a whole table of weapons that they're handing out to the students. Try that today. There's no way that we're going to be able to show up at a high school and just hand out weapons to students for self-defense. Jamie and Lauren are catching up because Lauren wasn't at this party. Jamie's frustrated that all she did was change the order of deaths. She hasn't prevented anything. Jamie wonders if it was two killers like Scream, but Lauren hasn't heard of that movie. She tells her it's a movie from the future that you think stars Drew Barrymore, but then it doesn't. Which is awesome. Jamie asks how the time machine's going. Lauren has both good news and bad news. The good news is that Lauren has worked up a prototype, and the bad news is that her phone is dying. It's at 33%.
Yeah. Well, also they need Wi-Fi.
They need Wi-Fi.
And they don't have there's no Wi-Fi.
But that's when they look at the phone, and they do at this moment because the news van is there.
Right.
And that's when they realize that the news van is giving them the Wi-Fi signal. Eddie has now been released from custody because the murder happened while he was in custody. And Eddie is there saying the recent experiences have really changed him as a man. And Norm is like, a man showing emotion. Fascinating. And girls all around during the scene that are not Jamie or Lauren they have both their hands over his heart and they're swooning over Eddie.
Well, the original band seems like more of like a hard rock band, and now it's been
a little more
into like
emo,
an emo band.
In a little emo band. Yeah, which is awesome. But yeah, the girls everywhere start chasing him as he walks off. They're like, Eddie, do you remember me? Which is hilarious. So because they found out about the Wi-Fi, they plan to use the park grounds because they're always broadcasting at the park grounds.
Wait, isn't there something happening that, why would they?
The science fair, right?
No, the science fair was in the future.
Oh, right, I apologize.
What are they doing?
Well, it's just
some event that it's some event.
Well, it's Halloween night at the park grounds.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, okay, all right. Okay. Lauren's saying that they need to use it to time travel to get Jamie home, but Jamie doesn't want to go home without catching the killer first.
Oh, did they figure out that they need to use the
I don't think they did yet.
Okay.
But they do eventually. Jamie tries to separate her future parents, saying they're too young and horny, and they just laugh at her. They think she's cute. And that's when she sees Damon, who they call Lurch, drive by the school. So we cut to Jamie cutting class. Do you remember the hall pass she has?
Yeah, it's a plunger.
It's a giant plunger, which is hilarious. That's just so mean. But she uses it to check out Damon's van. We finally get to see the right side of his van, which has this beautiful mural of like a cobra, which is pretty cool. But she breaks in. She's like, please don't be a body under here. And it turns out to be a bicycle. And when he opens the van, she kicks him. And he's like, take whatever you want. Just please leave Thundercats.
Yeah. It says video games on there.
Right. And she's like, I don't want your video games. He's like, there's the only thing worth anything. And Damon says that he knows that people think he's the killer, but he's not a killer. This is where Doug shows up, who's a hall monitor. He points out, and he talks about how amazing video game graphics are, and he likes the way that when characters explode in one game, they disappear in a pink mist. So Damon says they should all go inside because it's not safe out here, and that's where we learn that Doug took 8 years of karate at Tom's Dojo at the mall.
Here we go.
Right? And also the cops drive around here every 2 minutes. And Damon says that they wouldn't trust the sheriff because he told the sheriff it wasn't Eddie, and the sheriff didn't believe him and took Eddie into custody anyway. And Jamie goes, I know.
Oh, yeah. This is when they start
This is it. Yeah.
This is when they're talking about the bullet.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Because he overheard Eddie talking about how
Eddie told him that
she wouldn't give him a blowjob.
So that's
and then
when he
they
left.
said, oh, if only she'd give blowjobs, she might still be alive. And so Jamie's like, let's not be the takeaway.
Yeah, right. Which is awesome. Yeah, it's right out of the commercial.
That was pretty funny.
It was funny because both the boys were like, yeah. like, oh man. Now at Billy's Boardwalk amusement park, Lauren is telling Jamie that the photo book isn't working as a power source and that they need a new source to generate enough force to disrupt gravity.
Oh, okay.
So this is where...
I mean, okay, so this is not how gravitron works, but that's okay.
According to the genius, it does,
okay,
Margo.
All right.
But that's what they figure out.
The quantum drop.
Quantum drop.
Which is where old Jamie was not conceived, but...
Well, they figured out that she existed.
She was alive.
Yeah. So they go into the quantum drop to tell the attendant that they're from the city, and they try to explain what's going on. He goes, hey, if the quantum drop goes down, Ned gets to take a break. So he just leaves. And she's like, and Jamie's face of disbelief. She still doesn't get how easy it is to convince people to do anything. Like, no one lies in the 80s. So they come up with a plan. Lauren's going to stay to work on...
no way to fact check anything.
That's so true.
Like, all right.
You used to believe everything as a kid.
I mean, why not?
Your friends told you something was true, and then you knew it. So Lauren stays at work on the time machine, and Jamie goes to the group. Jamie briefs Blake, Pam, Marissa, and Randy. Jamie tells them she believes that Marissa is next, but Pam thinks it could be anybody. It could be her as well. And Jamie tells them if anybody wants to leave, they should do it now. And Pam says she wants to stay, even if that means Marissa has to die. And it's because she doesn't want to spend the rest of her life not knowing who the psycho was who killed her friends. Mm-hmm. And Blake and Randy are nodding their heads. Randy's got a baseball bat. Yeah. He's like ready for this.
Yeah.
Marissa's like, I don't want to be bait, but Jamie tells her it's going to be okay. She gives her the rape alarm.
Yeah.
She's like, well, so if you feel scared, push it. She pushes it immediately.
It's really loud.
And she's like, okay, you know how this works. And then Randy points out, but what if he slits her throat before she has a chance to press the rape button? And Marissa's like, what? And then Jamie's like, no, it's not his MO. The killer always stabs his victims 16 times. And Marissa's like, that doesn't make me feel better. And Jamie's like, you're going to be fine. Just walk to the Dollhouse of Horrors as if you're planning to meet someone to blow them. And Pam's like, yeah, you do it all the time. Yeah. And Blake is nodding his head in agreement. And then we pan to Randy, who's also nodding his head in agreement. And this comforts her. like, oh no.
Like, oh, yeah.
We get the music, which is Killing Moon by Echo and the Bunnymen. Mm-hmm. So now we cut to Kara, who shows up and scares Jamie and Pam. She's dressed like the Grim Reaper, and she believes that everybody's avoiding her now since the cabin. Kara repeats that her father said earlier that no one started dying until Jamie came into town. But if Kara wasn't hiding, she would have saw Jamie up in there fighting the freaking killer, kicking the killer's ass. So it's kind of like, really, Kara? Really? As Marissa's walking towards the Dollhouse of Horrors, we see the killer walking towards her, and he bumps into Chris. And then we cut to Chris in 2023 that remembers now seeing the killer.
He came into contact with him.
Yeah, and he was going after Marissa. This is where Amelia gets the time machine 2.0 ready. She sends Chris to go get the metal conductor. And we're back in the Dollhouse of Horrors. We have the typical jump scare. Marissa's pretending to be calling Randy.
I'm gonna say this haunted house is legitimately scary.
Yeah.
It's like, I wouldn't go into this thing.
We see that Randy's hiding in a chair, like one of the bodies.
They're all like in the house hiding, waiting for the killer.
Jamie's crouched, which is the thumbnail that they used for the movie on Amazon. She's like crouched with a baseball bat ready to attack. And then the killer comes through, looks right at Randy, but doesn't notice he's real. Mm-hmm. But Randy turns his head. So if we didn't know at this point Randy was there, we now know that Randy was there. The jump scare comes out at the killer and he slices it in half with a knife, which makes Jamie jump. And the killer notices where Jamie's hiding. When the killer comes in, she doesn't swing the bat, but she's trying to avoid the knife and she's yelling, rape alarm, like to hit the button. Blake comes in swinging, but the killer fights him off. But the killer does drop the knife. Jamie grabs the knife and runs. She's like, I got the knife. The killer catches up to Jamie, knocking her down. Randy comes in swinging a bat. The killer knocks him down. Then Pam jumps in and he knocks her down. Jamie lands the knife in the killer's back, and the killer's able to pull it out. And Marissa runs to the.
Do that.
Right. That's crazy to pull out the knife from your own back. Marissa runs to the corner of the room.
That knife is keeping the blood in.
I know, right?
Don't pull it out.
Everybody knows you don't pull it out. You go to the hospital, you let them
anyway,
pull it out.
Go ahead.
Ignore the serial killer costume. Can you get this knife out of my back? And then all of a sudden the killer, he gets the knife, he's going after Jamie, and then all of a sudden this massive blade comes from behind him through his stomach or through his chest. And we cut to Kara. Marissa's like, that thing's real? And she's like, yeah, my dad gave it to me. I told you I wasn't the killer. There's like, or something like that.
I think she's like, there's a killer on the loose.
Yeah, my dad gave it to me.
Why her dad gave her a real scythe.
Yeah, but she does at some point tell you, I told you I wasn't the killer.
So they got him.
So Jamie unmasks the killer, and it's Doug. Yeah. And Randy can't believe that Dork Summers kicked his ass. And that's where Jamie's like, he took karate at Tom's Dojo.
Yeah.
And they don't remember doing anything to Doug. Then they open the locket in his neck, which he earlier called like an imitation of the first microchip. Mm-hmm. And it's got a picture of Trish in there.
Yeah.
And that's when they remember that Doug and Trish used to date. Mm-hmm. And Jamie asked if he'd really kill them because they made fun of his girlfriend. And that's where we get the motivation. They said that the night that Trish died, Tiffany had invited Trish over to find out if a rumor that was going around that she had slept with Coach Zane was true. And that night they got really drunk, and Tiffany kept asking her, even though she denied it, made her go into, she locked herself in Tiffany's room, was crying. She went off to drive. They say they tried to stop her.
Yeah, I mean, so they assumed she called Doug at that point.
Yeah, right. So that's how Doug found out when she was hiding in the room.
And because they got her so wasted, she drove and she died from a drunk driving accident.
Right. Jamie instantly tells Pam, like, I can't believe you're that kind of person.
She gets really mad at her mom.
Right. And then Pam's like, I wasn't even there. What kind of person do you think I am? Tiffany and I got into a fight and we didn't talk for months.
Right. So basically he has no motivation to kill her mom at all.
Right. So then, And so this leads Jamie to ask why Doug would promise to kill Pam one day. And Pam's like, he didn't. And she goes, he was going to leave you this note. And she busts out with the note. She's like, this note, which how would a psychic generate that note?
Yeah, well, whatever.
Anyway, Marissa says it doesn't matter now. And another killer comes from behind her and slashes her throat. And then she presses the rape alarm.
Oh my gosh, this made me laugh so
I know. Hard. Me too. Oh, it was so messed up. It was
the killing, the hitting the rape alarm, and then Kira yelling, "My dad got me this too!" Then pulls out a gun.
She's only 5 feet away. She misses.
I know, but that like made me laugh so hard.
I was laughing too.
Like,
it was
the
really.
movie is like humorous all the way through, but this part like legitimately made me laugh.
And Jamie says that the killer's from the future, that it's adult Doug. And Lauren's like, it can't be adult Doug since young Doug is killed.
Yeah.
And Jamie's now worried about Amelia.
Yeah.
Adult Lauren coming home and finding Amelia lying on the floor, and there's blood splatter there. So at least in this point in the timeline, Amelia has been killed in the future. Mm-hmm. Kara is still firing her gun at killer number 2. I think it's funny. I wanted to point out that, so she was right about there being 2 killers, but not in the way she thought. Yeah. Like one's from the future.
Well, originally there wasn't. Yeah.
Right. Originally there wasn't. Kara runs out of bullets because she's shooting into all the fake bodies. Yeah. And that's where the killer comes back for her. She runs to the group and tells them all to run. Jamie grabs a knife off the floor and makes her way out of there. Killer 2 goes back to Marissa to stab her 16 times before chasing everybody down.
Yeah.
Jamie points out they need time travel while Norm is still broadcasting. We cut to Norm, who's signing off. And this is Norm. And Jamie and Lauren run by and say, don't cut. Don't keep rolling. The killer's here. And Norm's like, apparently the killer has been spotted. There's 2 girls here. And then his throat is slashed. Oh, no. He stabbed through the head. Right through the head. Yeah. Which is crazy. Jamie's like, she says, I can't leave here. The killer's still here. And Lauren says that she'll send Jamie back to earlier in that day so she can at least save her mom. Yeah. Even if we don't stop the killer here, we still save your mom. And this mirrors like how Marty McFly in Back to the Future was like, I'll go back 1 hour early to tell Doc that he was going to get killed and prevent him, which I thought was cool. And then Lauren explains the rules of the quantum drop, that they have to stay in the center. If they don't stay in the center, they'll explode. Yeah. Jamie gives Lauren the jacket to give to their mom. I imagine the crystal had to be in it. But this is the bootstrap paradox.
Oh, that's why I didn't even think about that. That's the psychic's crystal.
Yes.
No, because she hadn't gone back. She hadn't gone back in time yet.
Yeah, but that's where she got it now.
No, maybe now.
But that's how she got
originally. That's not how she got it, because she hadn't gone back to the future or back to the past yet. So she probably just got it from a random psychic.
But then this is how she now got the jacket,
right?
Because she tells her to give her the jacket. So it's not the bootstrap paradox, because she in the original timeline she had to have gotten it.
I think she just had it at the original timeline.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about that.
But this is
because I did think about that about the jacket, but she hadn't gone back to the past at the beginning of the movie, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Know.
It doesn't work. But now the timeline's set up
yeah.
so that the Jack and the crystal were given to her by okay. That's funny though.
Yeah, that is funny. I didn't think about that. That would be really hilarious. Anyway, go ahead.
Killer number 2 runs in the time machine. Jamie tells Lauren to get out, and she says that the killer will be brought with her to the future, and Jamie says it's better than leaving the killer here. Lauren makes it out as the killer's trying to slice her. Killer number 2 goes after Jamie, but then Pam jumps on his back at the last moment. Jamie yells no, and the killer throws Pam against the wall. Jamie attacks him with a knife that she had grabbed from killer number 1, but he grabs his arm and throws her to the ground. The machine is speeding up.
Yeah, the Groundtron starts working.
Right. It's speeding up. Jamie asks Pam what she's doing here. She goes, I don't know. You had a vision that I was supposed to be in the quantum drop for a big moment, and I think that moment was connected to you.
Yeah.
And she tells her that you and me have been here before.
Oh, that's sweet.
I know, it was sweet. It was sweet.
She was pregnant with her.
Yeah.
And they were in the quantum drop.
So the killer starts pushing the buttons because he knows how the time machine works, apparently.
He already went.
But he didn't use the quantum time machine.
But maybe it works the same way. I don't know.
Sure. Okay.
Who knows?
Jamie and Pam both attack the killer at the same time. The three of them are thrown against the wall. And this epic scene where the killer stands up sideways because of the gravity.
He's like walking towards them.
Yeah, or the centrifugal force, whatever. But he's walking toward him. Yeah. He makes his way over to Pam. He stabs Pam once, but then Jamie opens the door. She was lying on the door, and she flies out into 1987. Yeah. She probably got a little hurt, but she's safe.
Hopefully saving her mom. Yeah.
Yeah. As the door closes back, it grabs the mask and rips it off the killer number 2's face, and we find out it's Chris Dubasage.
Yeah.
Right? You killed my mom. And he goes, yeah, it seems twice. And your own dad. It's like, that was just a bonus. This Chris will never have to put up with that asshole as a father who never cared about him more than his career.
Yeah.
And then we get that his plan is to use this time machine to go anywhere in time and kill. He'll become like the boogeyman. And become like Michael fucking Myers, which is pretty crazy. He does point out that he never knew the original murderer was Doug, so he thanks Jamie for showing that to him. And then Chris makes it to the center, and they start fighting.
Do we learn now that he was the one who wrote the note?
Yeah.
That he wrote the note to her mom to make them think that the killer was still out there killing.
Right.
Yeah, killed her to like make people think that the killer was back or whatever.
Because it's hard to keep up a podcast where only 3 people died.
Yeah.
But they make it to the center fighting. She stabs Chris in the arm, but he laughs because now he has both knives. But she gets out the nail gun. She shoots him 6 times, then pushes him to the edge, and he explodes into pink mist.
Yeah.
Like the video games, which I love. Then we have sort of an audio montage of all of the quotes from the movie so far. And then she lands back in 2023. Jamie runs home. It's earlier the same day, Halloween, 2023. Jamie's inside the house screaming for her mom, and she shows up there wearing the white jacket this time. Her dad appears, and then Lauren and Amelia arrive. Since history's changed, apparently they all hang out every Halloween.
Yeah, they're all friends.
They're all friends. They all hang out. Lauren seems more well-to-do now. She's wearing a nice suit.
Yeah, right.
She's not, miserable anymore. And I love that, like Lauren doesn't hate Blake in this timeline.
Right.
I gotta imagine, they don't show it though, that Karen doesn't hate Blake anymore either.
Yeah, right. They're all friends again.
Because they all, And Lauren asks if she could see Jamie outside for a second. A lot of information happens here.
Yeah.
She says she was meant to arrive, but daylight savings messed her up. She shows her that she had a gun strapped to her ankle. And she's like, really? She's like, she waited 35 years to see who came out of that machine. And that she has a lot to catch up on. She wrote her a book called Everything That's Different. And she said she had to guess at some things, but she thinks that she got the big stuff right based on all the clues. Just then a man walks up saying he's sorry that he's late, but Jason and Veronica will be on their way. And he compliments Jamie on her fake blood. And Jamie's like, oh, he's hot. Who's that?
It's like a funny part where when she came home, she's like a huge scratch on her face.
Yeah.
And her parents are like, what happened? And she's like, oh, bike accident. Which is the lie that her dad
You're
told
right.
her mom to use.
It. Oh my gosh. I totally forgot about that. I knew that came back later.
Yeah.
So she's checking out this guy. She's like, he's hot. And Lauren tells him that, you know how you kept trying to keep your parents apart in high school? That didn't work. They got together immediately. That's your 34-year-old brother named Jamie. And she's like, we're both named Jamie? And just then Pam comes out and she goes, Colette, can you help your brother set up the table? Also, grandma calls, sends her love, and she can't wait to see you at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so they see their grandma now.
So their relationship's improved, but her name's now Colette.
Yeah.
I love it because In Back to the Future,
Yeah.
we get the scene at the end where Marty's mom is like, Marty, what a nice name. Mm-hmm. And when he gets back to the present, their first kid wasn't named Marty. Mm-hmm. But the second kid is. That never made... I was like, really? Like, I thought that was interesting. Yeah. I always had that thought.
Yeah.
But now, this one really played it up. They're like, yeah, we love Jamie. Jamie was amazing. She helped us out in that time with the killer. We're going to name our first kid after her.
Yeah, right.
And so now this next kid is named Colette, which is awesome. And we get the last line of the movie, which is fucking time travel. But then the credits are fun.
Yeah.
We see the book.
Yeah.
We see that Jamie's brother, or Jamie, who is her brother, has a husband named Jason and a 3-year-old daughter named Veronica. Lauren is now a bioengineer, and she puts in quotes, "Don't worry, I'm a good one."
Yeah.
Amelia is still your best friend and a genius. Randy is now the principal. Mm-hmm. Kara's the chief of police, and no one was happier when they legalized weed. On a scale of 1 to high, her brownies get ranked Snoop Dogg. Lurch, or Damon, founded the video game empire called Pink Mist Games and started an anti-bullying campaign in memory of Trish. Mm-hmm. Eddie Royal fronts a band called A Water Bad Away, and he's told Rolling Stones he chose that name because that's how close he came to death. And Chris, who was traumatized by his father's death, which was broadcast on live TV, became a monk in India, but Lauren still keeps an eye on him just in case.
Yeah, so he's not killing anybody.
So that's the end of that. What'd you think of it?
I thought this was really funny. I like this movie a lot.
I like this one a lot too. The preview really had me hooked. So when it was premiere day, I was excited to watch as much as I could, as fast as I could. There's some interesting trivia. Jamie, Pam, and Blake have the last name Hughes, which is a nod to director John Hughes, who directed The Breakfast Club, which starred Molly Ringwald. The killer's mask, depicting the face of a grinning blonde-haired man, designed by makeup wizard Tony Gardner. The director,
Nanachka Khan.
Yeah. It explains that the mask had originated in the 80s, so we have that nostalgic vibe, but in our movie, people still dress up like the killer in present day, so I wanted to feel a little bit relevant, and we landed on the idea of a handsome man being terrifying. Mm-hmm. Tony Gardner and our designing team started pulling 80s heartthrob references like Keith Sutherland, Rob Lowe, Donna Lundroff, and even Johnny Bravo, and they exaggerated. He does look like Johnny Bravo, right? And then they exaggerated and made the teeth oversized. The idea was that the last thing you see was a beautiful smile before you're being killed. Jamie uses the surname LaFleur when she goes back in time. This is a female equivalent to Jim LaFleur, the pseudonym that Sawyer uses in the TV show Lost, when he goes back in time and lives amongst the Dharma Initiative. I thought it was cool. I didn't know that one. I didn't pick up on that one at all. The Zata Burger employee, Angie, when she says at least 6 people should be killed as a result of the time travel, even with the people that didn't die now, 6 people are died. We have Tiffany, Heather, Doug, Marissa, Norm, and Chris.
Oh, funny.
But while Pam is killed in 2023, and so is Amelia, they change when she changes in the future, so the body count stays at 6.
Yeah, not scary, so I like that.
That's good, yeah. All right, well, that's cool. I mean, I'm looking forward to showing you Happy Death Day.
Okay,
it's
great.
a good comedy.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for listening, guys. I hope to see you next time.
And another genre bending, right? Genre bender.
Yeah. So where Freaky was Freaky Friday
the 13th, or not Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday. This one's
like
Back to the Future.
Groundhog Day.
That one's like Groundhog Day.
All right. Looking forward to.
All right. Okay, bye.
Bye.